Hi and welcome back to The Swimming Teacher. I hope your children enjoyed last week's video and had fun doing the activities either in the bath or in the trusty tub of water that you may be using. Last week we were talking about blowing bubbles through our mouths. If you happen to miss that video, I'm going to put a link in the description below as well as the card above. Let me know in the comment section below how long your children were able to blow bubbles for. And remember, if you do have any questions or need any tips and tricks, please write me a comment and I will always respond to you as soon as I can. This week, we are going to be talking about how to blow bubbles through our noses. We're also, at the end of this video, going to be discussing the 5 skills that are needed to successfully submerge your face, hold your breath, blow bubbles through your mouth, and blow bubbles through your nose. If this is the first time we are meeting, my name is Carryn. I've been a swimming teacher for over 15 years, and during lockdown, I've been trying to find ways to adapt my techniques so they can be practiced at home without the use of a swimming pool. So, without further ado, let's dive right into this week's video, how to blow bubbles through your noses. The first activity we are going to do is teaching our children to feel the air trickling out of their noses. We're going to remind them about their hamster cheeks. We are going to also remind them to take a deep breath because the longer you inhale, the longer you're going to be able to submerge your face for and exhale. Exhaling through your nose is a little bit different than exhaling through your mouth. When you exhale through your mouth, you tend to do it a lot quicker than when you blow bubbles through your noses. So we are going to encourage our children to take a huge deep breath. We are then going to ask them to put their finger under their noses so that they can feel the air coming out. It's going to be a lot easier for them to learn this technique above the water first before we then introduce our body of water for them to practice this in. So they're going to take a deep breath, put their finger under their nose and slowly exhale through their nostrils. It's going to look something like this. You're going to want to practice this activity a few times in front of your child first before getting them to have a go. If your children are a little bit older, I would encourage you to do this activity at the same time as them. You could almost make it a game. See who takes the longest to exhale all of their air through their nostrils. I would aim for at least 5 to 10 seconds of exhalation before asking them to take another breath. What you want to encourage your children to do is to fully exhale through their noses before they then take another deep breath. It should look something like this. Notice how I was putting my fingers in the air so that I could count how long I was going to exhale for. I would also encourage your children to do the same because it does take their minds off how long they're exhaling for. Once your children are really good at taking a deep breath in and exhaling through their noses, it is now time to move on to the next activity, which is called blowing bubbles through our noses in our body of water. This next activity, we are going to use a clear glass of water. We're going to try and get our children to take a deep breath in, press their lips against the glass, and only exhale through their nostrils. You want your children's nostrils to sit just on the rim of the glass so they're able to see the air coming out through their noses. It should look something like this. During this activity, it's really important that you use your clear glass of water so that you are able to see your children's mouths through the glass. You want to make sure that they're not exhaling through their mouths as well as their noses, which some children tend to do. You want to try and get your children to purse their lips so that they are fully closed and see the air coming out of their noses above the glass. Once your children are able to do this activity, it is now time for them to get their goggles and get ready to submerge their faces whilst looking down in a body of water. Remember, before you try and move on to the next activity, it's very, very important that they are able to inhale through their mouths and fully exhale through their noses. If your children are finding these activities a little bit difficult, try and take it back a step. Remember, it's quite important for you to be able to demonstrate to them what they have to do, as well as explaining to them what they need to be doing whilst they themselves are having a go at the different activities. Remember to use clear and concise language. So if your children are now ready to move on to the next activity, grab your goggles and we are going to get our body of water and get ready to submerge our faces. how when I blow bubbles out of my nose, I'm able to do it for a lot longer than I was before blowing out through my mouth. That is because when you breathe out through your nose, of course, it's going to trickle out of the nostril a lot slower than out of the mouth, simply because the holes are a lot smaller in your nose than they are in your mouth. A lot of people, when they breathe, swimming front crawl or breaststroke, they tend to inhale through their mouth and exhale through their noses. Some children do take a breath through their mouths and also exhale through their mouths. This is okay too. It's always good to try and find what your child feels most comfortable for. But if you could aim for a good technique, I would encourage them to breathe through their mouths and exhale through their noses, simply because they're going to be able to keep their heads in the water a lot longer and they don't have to worry about doing too many functions with their mouths. Practice these activities 5 to 10 times each night in the bath or using your trusty body of water. Let me know in the comment section below how your children got on with this week's activities and how long they were able to blow bubbles through their noses. Now it's time for our ultimate recap of what we've been learning over the last 5 weeks. In week 1, we were learning how to submerge our lips in the water. In week 2, it was our lips and our noses. In week 3, we learned how to hold our breath and submerge our goggles, nose, and mouths in the water. Last week, of course, we were learning how to blow bubbles through our mouths. And this week, we were learning how to blow bubbles through our noses. If you have any questions about any of these activities that we've been learning over the last 5 weeks, please let me know in the comment section below. I love hearing about all of your children's progress, and I love knowing that you guys are finding value through these videos. Remember, you don't need a swimming pool to learn how to teach your children the fundamentals of learning how to swim. I always find that one of the most difficult tasks that happen during a swimming lesson is getting a child to put their faces in the water. Once they're able to do that, I find that it's really easy to then teach them how to swim. I hope you enjoyed this series of how to put your face in the water, and if you find value in these videos, please push the like button and of course subscribe to my channel. It would really mean a lot to me. I'm looking to start a movement trying to help people teach their children how to swim at home without the use of a swimming pool. The next series I'm going to be working on is called How to Teach Your Baby to Swim in the Bath. If you're interested in videos like this, please click on the notification bell so you'll be notified as soon as a new video is released. I'm going to be doing this with my 17-month-old son, but these videos are good for any children that are above the age of 6 months old. So if you are looking forward to that, please stay tuned for next week's video. I hope you enjoyed this series and I hope to see you guys again soon. Take care. Bye.